Hello YouTube, welcome back to... that was a good timing. Thank you Giggles for Days for 16 months in a row, Twitch Prime. Been here all along. Almost a whole year. Almost, but not quite, you're almost there. Also, this episode is dedicated to Erox. Thank you very much for your support on Patreon last month. That is my last shout out to do for last month. That bit of paper can get lost. And we're going to open with an Eden run and see where things go from there. Hard mode, Eden. Let's see what we get. Oh, Erox is here. Perfect. I totally got thrown off from doing my intro. We started with the trinket box. Yeah. Blood Clot and Wiggle Worm. I'll take the speed up instead of that because our speed is bad. Our damage is bad and our tear rate is bad, so this is not a very good start. The seed is NDTJ EKXK, descendant of the clan branch family. Oh, have you been looking into your heritage? I remember doing that, or someone in my family doing that a long time ago. The clan Dawson. It's an offshoot of some other clan, I forget which. I'm sure you can wiki it. Ow. Right, I need to get my Isaac Fu back. There is obviously things to talk about. Hello, Meadow Magpie. Before I forget, though, because I'm liable to forget after we get off on a long topic of conversation. Dodge Roll Games, the devs of Enter the Gungeon, have gone on record as saying they're no longer working on paid DLC for the game. Oh, continue. They had been planning to do a paid-for DLC, but they've decided to work on their new game instead, so they're going to release what they have as a free update sometime. You know how they are with how long updates take. They do mention, like in their post, that they're working with 6-year-old code and they're better coders now, so they can see all the problems they had with how they made Gungeon, so it makes it very frustrating to do new stuff for it. Which I guess is kind of understandable. They also confirmed, at the very least, like there'd be like a bunch of new guns, new synergies, new items, etc. But the biggest thing they're adding is a random start character, which I remember mentioning very recently when playing Gungeon for you. So it's a character that starts with a random weapon, random passive, and whatever else. And they're definitely adding that. They called him the Paradox, I think. And they specifically said if you try and go for a past with the Paradox, it just randomizes one of the other characters for you. If you choose to go for the past instead of Bullet Hell. Well, everyone is filtering in. You Vice President, or Marley, etc. So I'll probably save like talking about this run is terrible. I'll save like talking about Batman and stuff for the next episode, just to try and space out the Batman talk. And I'm sure anyone who is in my Discord will be wanting me to more talk about how my day off yesterday was exceptionally bad, thanks to a minor health scare. I mean, I don't know if it would be classed officially as a minor health scare, but it scared the shit out of me. So I'm going to tell that story, but if anyone's squeamish about like medical stuff, you probably don't want to listen. I am relatively okay. I am in pain, but I don't think it's anything super serious. I think it's a IBS flare-up as a result of anxiety. Right now. I got some medicine today to help with the stomach punching feeling. There you go. Thank you Echo2219 for subbing with Twitch Prime. Welcome back, I think. You love my content and videos. Keep up the good work. I will try to. We are ready for the boss. I'll fight the boss and then get on with the story. That'll give people a chance to filter in. We do not need a child leash, nor does any person ever. I don't like talking about health stuff just in general. That's why I always am squeamish about like talking about IBS and hell, even just like hay fever and crap like that as well. But Monday started normally enough. I had breakfast, took the dog out, totally fine. I hate Ragman and this champion is particularly bad. And then, as is tradition for my day off, went food shopping for the week. Go through with my mother, who gives me a lift because she goes shopping as well. And it seemed perfectly normal. It was just playing Pokemon Go, walking through a town to the supermarket. And the best way I can describe it is... well, the best way I can describe it is being interrupted by generosity again. Thank you, Rydog, for the very generous bits. A week's worth of bits all at once. Hope you feel better soon. So what happened was, walking up a very, very slight incline, like nothing serious at all, just walking along. all of a sudden it felt like I just was breathing like 5 times faster than I should have been, and I just couldn't hold a breath, and at the same time my gut was hurting quite a bit. And I don't know why it happened, but it got to the point where I just had to say to my mother, look, I don't feel right, I need to stop for a second. So I stood still, and after like a minute or so it subsided. And I don't really know what happened, but it scared the crap out of me because I'd never felt anything like that before. So phoned up the local doctors. You can talk to like a triage doctor and or nurse, tell them what's up, and they'll say like go to the hospital or come in and get us a chance to look at you, etc. Thank you Otsubi123 for subscribing with a tier 1 sub. So anyway, I phoned up, I talked to the doctor, described my symptoms. Well, actually no, I told the receptionist. The doctor phoned me back like quite a few minutes later, and they said, look, come in and have a nurse look at you just to make sure everything's fine. And by then, like, the breathing thing had stopped within a minute, but I was left with exceptional lingering pain in my abdominal area, which it has not gone. I've still got it now, and it's very, very distracting. But I went to the nurse, and she was exceptionally thorough with her searching for things. She checked my lungs, she checked my heart, she checked my temperature, she checked my heart rate, my blood pressure, my urine, she prodded me in places no one should be prodded. Like, she checked absolutely everything and could find nothing wrong. No, not my prostate, okay, I mean things relevant to the problem. So, what she was left with was, like, she can't find anything wrong, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong. If it is an abdominal thing, though, it can sometimes take a while to develop, so there is a chance that it will still develop into something else. But it seems like everything is okay right now, just keep an eye on it, come back if you think anything gets worse. So I don't know what it was, but I do have a theory. Like, I tried to Sherlock Holmes it a little bit to try and work out, because if it's nothing medical, and I believe the nurse, because as I say, she was very, very thorough, then what could it have been? And the abdominal pain I'm familiar with, because it feels like an IBS flare-up. It's just, it feels like you're being punched in the stomach constantly. Usually IBS flare-ups are caused either by something you eat or anxiety or stress, neither of which I feel like I was feeling at the time, at least when I was first thinking about it, because I was just walking along playing Pokemon Go. Like, I didn't have anything to be stressed about. So I didn't have any inkling as to what the cause was. And this is again assuming that, you know, it doesn't, I shouldn't have taken that, this is a terrible tear effect. Because it might still develop into something else abdominal related, because it's like, it's right in the middle above, like, I think she said that's exactly where your stomach is, where I was describing that the pain is. So it can be connected to, like, just like pressing on your lungs and giving you that horrible feeling I experienced. I don't know, I'm not a doctor. But I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, well, I think this lingering effect, this lingering pain I'm in, is IBS flaring up. Because that's familiar to me. It's what it feels like. It feels exceptionally bad. It feels as bad as it was when I first went to the doctor about it and discovered I had IBS. I've taken medicine a little while ago, after just before my dinner actually, to try and calm the like spasms in the stomach. Hasn't worked yet, unfortunately. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. Did I have Indian food? No, I was at, the nurse asked all this, like, did you eat any spicy food, exceptionally fatty food, anything like that, anything out of the ordinary? I itemized my breakfast for her, which was the same breakfast I have every day, more or less. Sometimes I change the packet of crisps I include with my breakfast, but other than that, for my breakfast I always have, well, I used to have orange juice, but then I found orange juice was a trigger for my OBS, so I had to switch. So I switched to a multivitamin yogurt drink thing. And then I have that, a cup of tea, a fibre bar, and sometimes a packet of crisps. That's my breakfast every day. I change what I have for lunch and dinner, but I have the same breakfast because I'm not much of a breakfast eater, so I just stick to what I know. Did I say OBS? I meant IBS. You know, there's two very similar things that are major parts of my life. One professionally, one personally. And I keep on confusing which I'm saying. So just bear with me. So anyway, I decided to, like, I've got to try and work backwards from this to work out what happened, because it's going to bug me forever. Honestly, I can only remember one other time in my life I felt so scared, which is horrible. and that was when we were kids and we got told about the school shooting in Bannockburn, or wherever it was. Not Bannockburn, it was in maybe it was, I can't remember now. Either way, I remember that vividly because I was a kid and I was terrified. And it was on par with that, because I remember just walking along and being like, this isn't right, and I don't think this is anxiety or IBS, this just feels like something is severely wrong. And it might be, I don't know, but, you know, got checked out and it's apparently fine. Thank you, Zeke. For 17 months in a row, I returned from vacation, and after going over budgeting regarding moving out, I decided I have a large enough margin to stay subscribed. Hooray, I'm glad you paced that out correctly. So anyway, I'm gonna tell you what I think happened. I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to tell you what I think happened and what all worked out to be. It's incredibly stupid also, but this is what I think happened, assuming that nothing worse happens from this point on. When I first recounted what happened, I was like, I was just playing Pokemon Go. There was nothing to be stressed about. When I was younger, I had a crap ton of anxiety. Like, I had constant anxiety attacks and panic attacks when I was younger. Still got them every so often as an adult. Not nearly as much. It was mostly like around college that it was the worst. When you have the stress of exams and all that garbage. That's when I had them quite badly that I got help from the doctor. And on and off, like once in a blue moon, yeah, you kind of get them. But they subside pretty quick. It's anyone who knows... Oh, crap. It's anyone who knows who's had panic attacks or anxiety attacks. They just kind of seem to start for no reason, even if you're not thinking about anything or if you're not in a stressful situation. They can just happen and screw you over for a little while. I've had them during streams, believe it or not, once or twice. I have memory of them. Try my best not to draw attention when it has happened, but more or less it's never been particularly bad since I was a kid. But there are certain triggers I've noticed that make me anxious. I hate travelling, unless it's by foot or by bike. So if I'm in the car, I tend to get a little bit anxious. If I'm in a bus or a train, I get anxious. If I'm away from home in an area I don't usually go to, that usually makes me a bit anxious as well. So I think that led to like a little bit of background anxiety. And then this is the part that's going to sound really like stupid, but I feel like it probably did contribute. I was like, why would I be especially nervous on that, or not nervous, but anxious on that day? Like, I've been shopping there every week for however long. I used to work at the place, for goodness sake. So then I realised, I checked my phone just before we left to go to this place. Well, when we'd arrived, but before we went the walk, I mean. And I had an email from a delivery service saying, hey, we're going to deliver your parcel today between so-and-so time and so-and-so time. And that was like 40 minutes from where we were, meaning chances are I was probably not going to be in to get that delivery. It's not an important delivery, that's the stupid part. It was just some stuff from Amazon. But I remember deliberating over, well, I had the option to reschedule for the day after, I could try and get them to leave it with a neighbour. And I think that was just kind of building up my anxiety because I hate having to like reschedule things. That's the only thing I can think of that was out of the ordinary. It was I didn't want to have to deal with missing the delivery, so we're like, okay, well, if we hurry up, we can maybe get everything done here and get home in time, and you'll be able to get home for your delivery window. And that's the only thing I can think of that's totally out of the ordinary on that particular day. Like, I was a little bit more stressed because I knew I was going to miss a delivery. And I know that's a stupid thing, but it's literally the only thing I can think of that happened, like, very, very... like within, say, like 10 minutes of when whatever happened. So I think that caused me to have an anxiety attack. One more severe than I think I've ever had. For just, I don't know. But just work with that as a working theory. That in turn, I feel like, was as the anxiety was building, was setting off my IBS, which is giving me the stomach cramps, which in turn affects your breathing a little bit. Like, if I breathe in very deeply right now, I get a shooting pain in my abs. So I imagine that combined resulted in whatever the anxiety attack was. And then after it subsided, because anxiety attacks, if they're really sudden, they can just kind of go, like in a minute or two. Sometimes they last like an hour, which can be terrible. Usually they don't though, because you run out of adrenaline. Everything is connected. So that's my theory, and then that's why from that point on it was my abs that became, like my abdominal area that became the focus, being like in constant pain. Because that's just lingering, I said OBS again, didn't I? Lingering IBS. Now, whether I'm right about it just being like a sudden anxiety attack that happened, nurse checked my lungs, there's nothing wrong, so I don't know what else it could be. But if it is that, and I'm almost looking forward to going back there next Monday, because if it starts to happen again, then I'll know for sure it was anxiety. But if it is, and I'm convincing myself it is, I'm also disappointed because there's no reason to have that kind of reaction. Like, I thought it was over that kind of stuff. Everything. Oh, you were talking about everything being connected as in your insides. Yes, that is true. Shall I just take soy milk because screw it? Or... because this isn't a very good run. So anyway, I didn't like have any other perceived breathing issues, let's say. For the rest of the day, I just had constant pain in the abdominal area, which has continued today even after having a nice relaxing bath. A nice sleep, undisturbed, had a good night's sleep. Yeah, I know you're never over anxiety attacks, they just kind of happen, and what I mean more is you learn to cope with them, and then they happen less because you understand. Like, it's very hard to describe to someone who's never experienced it what it's like. The way I've kind of rehearsed it in my head, although I've never really had the opportunity to tell anybody, it's like you've got this loud voice in your head, which is the sane part of your the logical part of you, and it controls what you do. But then when anxiety or panic strikes, they suddenly become this little quiet voice, and your animal instincts take over, and you are sure, you don't suspect, you are sure something horrible is about to happen. You can't quantify it, you're sure it's going to happen, there is no doubt. And at the back of your mind you've got your little bit of logic that's saying, no, that doesn't make any sense, you're being stupid. But it's so quiet, and you have to learn to cope with anxiety by trying to remain logical. Go for cold hard facts. Like, I remember the doctor I spoke to once about it was like, okay, if you're worried about, like most people hyperventilate when they have an anxiety attack, challenge yourself by running on the spot to prove that you're not going to keel over dead. I have no idea what that means, Shiro. I've never heard of that term before. Diverticula? Diverticula? I mean, I imagine... obviously, if this abdominal pain continues, I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm probably still going to go get it checked out just in case, because the over-the-counter OBS medicine isn't doing anything. So far. I mean, it says, like, the NHS thing for treatments. I say OBS again. For IBS, it's like, oh hey, take this medication over the counter. It works within 15 minutes. Well, it's not done anything for me. It's been about an hour ago since I took it. And painkillers haven't worked either, or aspirin at the very least. I keep on saying OBS, which is the streaming software I use. Well, I use Streamlabs OBS now, not normal OBS, but still. And I have IBS, and they both sound very similar and are both frequently parts of my life, so I say the wrong things. I actually tried to make an appointment, like not just talk to a doctor, but to make an appointment today. But they couldn't do it because their system was down. But she let me know, like, well, even if you could have got through today, the next appointment would be roughly, I think she said 28th or so. So you might as well just wait until our system is back up, phone on Thursday, or whenever, she said. I took a note. And you'll be able to get an appointment for roughly the 28th. And I think I'm still probably going to do that because the stuff I got when I first got IBS diagnosis helped with the stomach spasming a lot more. Yes, irritable broadcaster software. Hello, piece of cake. For sacs that just appear in your digestive tract. Oh. Oh, so it's like IBS in the sense of like nobody understands why it happens, it just does. I was like, why are we doing no damage? And then I remembered. We're definitely going to die on this run, for the record. We'll quickly do another restart. I did it to myself by taking soy milk. Hello, Medliger. At first, I only brought it up in Discord just in case anything serious happened. Like, if I suddenly vanished, I wouldn't want that. I'd like to give a little bit of context. This is an enemy, right? Yeah, Christ. Oh, that was very lucky. I considered not bringing it up on stream because, as I said, I don't really like talking about health issues. Because one, it's embarrassing, and two, it's not the gentleman thing to do. But I wanted to do it partially as a test because... like, if you are stressing yourself out, worrying and whatnot, IBS gets worse. And talking about it helps. So I was curious if talking about it now would make any difference. And honestly, it does feel a little bit less sore. And that's a good thing, because if that means it is like psychosomatic stress pain, then that means it's nothing more serious than that. It's still a pain in the arse and very sore, but it's indicative of it being IBS and not anything much worse. But it was still a very, very unpleasant day, and as I say, that's the thing that like kept the lingering worry. I know what a panic attack and an anxiety attack feels like because I used to have them all the time. So whatever I experienced on Monday, it didn't feel like that, at least at the time. Like looking back at it, like maybe I felt like I was hyperventilating. I don't know. I don't think I ever like hyperventilated when I had a panic attack when I was younger. Like, I brought it up to the nurse being like, well, maybe it's asthma. I don't know, like, maybe because overweight people are more prone to getting asthma, maybe it's that. And she's like, well, was it a wheeze? Were you, like, wheezing? And she did, like, a wheeze impersonation. I was like, no, nothing like that. It was like I couldn't hold a breath, not that I couldn't breathe. It was just, like, super rapid breathing. So it's like, no, that doesn't sound like asthma or anything like that. Which is a relief, I suppose. Anxiety causes pain. Worry that it's more anxiety causes more anxiety, which causes more pain. Yes, that is exactly it. It is a horrible, horrible cycle of self-inflicted pain. Thank you, Blake Quinn, for 11 months in a row, and also thank you, Unknown, for the bits. Does a C-spin of bits make the medicine go down? If only. I'm honestly hoping that just like being distracted by knowing that I'm streaming is going to be a help. If all I have is like an IBS flare-up, that's fine. I can deal with that, I've dealt with that. It's bloody sore, but it's just stomach pain. That's all it is. She did an impression of wheezing from Pokemon. I was actually impressed at how like into her wheezing sound effect was. Like, she really lent into it. But I guess that was to hammer home the point. Oh yeah, I imagine asthma does suck. Especially if... like, I don't know, I think partially what the problem is I have an inherent fear of asphyxiation. It's not a rational... well, I guess it is a rational fear. Like, you'd have to be... well, no, I guess there is people into that, isn't there? But I hate having to qualify myself like a billion times over when we talk about this kind of thing, but it's not an irrational fear. I feel like most people, other than those who have a fetish for it, are very, very scared of asphyxiation. For whatever reason, I have an unnaturally high fear of asphyxiation, so anything regarding my breathing not feeling normal causes me more anxiety than I imagine that would the normal person. So that's probably why my IBS flared up as badly as it did after that event, because I was sure that something was wrong that I couldn't explain. And you know how you kind of get stuck in your head, like replaying the moment? I have that. Hello, Artro. Although that's partially also because I'm trying to I walked around my house trying to recreate it because I wanted, one, to see if I could trigger the effects again, because then I'd know it was just an anxiety attack, or two, if I could like work out some other thing that might have caused it. Because I was nervous, or no, anxious is the word, not nervous. I was a little nervous, anxious, whatever, beforehand. But then it just kind of got worse, and I don't fully know why. It may well have been like my first ever experience with hyperventilation. I don't know, I can't honestly say I've ever hyperventilated even though I've had panic attacks. Well, I don't know, like, I don't know how accurate it is if you see someone pretending to hyperventilate in like a TV show. Because I remember when I was younger, like, being bent double just because that makes it feel like it's easier to breathe even though you're not getting as much oxygen. Or something, I've forgotten now. But usually if you hyperventilate, you're kind of like doubled over. Yeah, I know they sometimes just happen, but it's been so long since I've had any kind of like really, really bad one that it doesn't feel like that's what it was. It felt like it was something else. And I don't know what it was, and that's the bad part. But all the signs point to it being what I said. Nurse checked me out, checked literally everything almost. Just couldn't find any issue. Working backwards, it feels like some kind of anxiety thing. And yet, there's a little voice just being like, yeah, but it didn't feel like it used to feel. It felt much worse than that. But it must have been anxiety. I mean, I went to bed and slept peacefully. I was asleep within 5 minutes, so it's not like it was keeping me up. Look at what we have become. Still probably feels better than I do, though. Anxious, nervous, yeah. If I wasn't as panicked at the time, I would have been able to take stock of what was happening and remember it more clearly. But that's been over 24 hours. Other than the lingering abdominal pain, there's been nothing else wrong. Let's say we'll see what happens when I go back there next Monday. Still just a very horrible time. And actually, that's another factor I didn't even think about. I don't like the Christmas season. The forced joy that you're supposed to have around this time of year, that also makes me anxious. So maybe that just added up as well, who knows. Oh yeah, that's true, yeah, the come down after the adrenaline's all worn off can make you exceptionally tired. IBS also makes you exceptionally tired. Sometimes. Like if I didn't have the abdominal pain right now, which is also causing backache, which IBS does, I'd basically feel more or less normal. But anyway, I'd rather start talking about something else now. I got that off my chest, I feel a little bit better about it. But hey, if I suddenly vanished, at least you know it wasn't that I got sick of you, it's that something worse happened. It's been a fun ride. Happy to have helped those I helped, etc. Because I'd rather leave some kind of message than none at all. You know, that's the worry if you like die suddenly. Which I know is a morbid topic. But hey, isn't Battlefield 5 out today? Let's talk about Battlefield 5. How many of you are playing Battlefield 5, TM? Oh, nobody wants to think about our mortality. That's part of the point. We're getting just shit item after shit item on this run. Yeah, especially not at this time of year. It being so close to pointless Christmas after all. But isn't it? It offers some form of comfort knowing that you've left a message at the very least, doesn't it? Because you could just get hit by a bus tomorrow. Please no one get hit by a bus tomorrow, because I'd feel really bad and also probably start thinking I've developed psychic powers. Oh, Giggles for Days, thank you for... Wait, didn't you resub earlier? I swear I said Giggles for Days earlier. Oh yeah, there you did. Yeah, you said been here all along. You've only just now said hello though. Ow. But that was your plan for tomorrow? No, no you can't. You have to wait now. For a different day. But anyway, we can talk about something less morbid now. Just know if I'm slightly negative, it's because I'm in very irritating pain. I wouldn't call it excruciating, I wouldn't call it like threatening, it's just very, very annoying pain. Distracting as well. Even the back support of this lovely new chair is not helping with the back pain associated. Well, see, I was going to talk about Batman, but I'd rather wait for the next episode for that, so that it's distanced from talking about almost dying. Did I catch anything rare while playing Pokemon Go? I have not. I'm doing the Melton 9-stage event or whatever. Need to catch a bloody Ditto, and I know there's a daily that gives you a Ditto, but I haven't found it yet. And in general, I haven't seen one for a long time. I also need to do 2 raids, which I also don't like doing. I can't kill this champion. No, okay. I think... Oh, the dimensional tears. I killed it. I didn't catch any... Like, I haven't seen a shiny in forever. I didn't get a shiny Magnemite, shiny Ponyta, shiny... what was the one before that was going around? Chikorita, was it? Didn't get any of them. Yeah, I live rurally as well. Oh, nope, shiny Cubone? Nope. I did not. Oh, you did remind me of something, though. My mother, being the Pokemon addict that she is, she bought a Switch for Pokemon Let's Go. So now she's playing that, and she sent me a text saying, like, can you jump on Pokemon Let's Go? And I thought she meant, are you meaning like you want to trade with me or something? And what she actually meant was, she wanted to know if there was a way to get over chest-high walls. It's like, no, you can't jump in the game. She's that addicted. That and her partner, both addicted to it. They both use 2 phones to do it. And now they have a Switch. And even though you can't have multiple accounts on the one cartridge of Pokemon Let's Go, if you have multiple users on the Switch, you actually do get separate save files. Which I didn't realise was possible, but they did it that way. You know why we're having a tough time hitting things? Not just because we have soy milk, but when we took glaucoma or whatever that red tear bubble effect is, it makes your tears fire so high they have a hard time hitting targets right in front of you. And that's why it's a bad tear effect. I don't know if they know about Detective Pikachu, I haven't mentioned it. Oh, I'll ask her next time I see her. I really shouldn't have done that because we're not getting very many keys thanks to Keybeggar stealing them all before I can pick them up. I imagine she'd probably want to watch it. Talking about like things feeding into things, we have no damage, so we keep on getting hit, therefore we can't get deals with the devil, which would give us damage. No, I'm not co-op streaming Pokemon Let's Go with my mother. I was like, why is that so cheap? And then I remembered. We have Steam Sale. Oh, that's a good card. That's a good card. Nuts to you. Yeah, well, we're going to have to take a chance on this, unfortunately. that's good enough. Still need an item room though. Ugh, my poor back. What are you asking me about? What? I'm watching. Yes, what? You got me hit. I'm still looking at chat. Wait, you want me to text my mother? To ask her if she's interested in Detective Pikachu of all things? Oh, that's not the right button. Forgot what game I was playing there. I was pressing Gungeon buttons. I do not have a hot water bottle, no. I meant to grab a pillow to have behind me. I'll probably do that at the break. I do want to play more Call of Duty. The problem is the only person I know who has it is, well, Police of Cake and Hawks. And Hawks can't play it unless it's the weekend because he works when I stream. And nobody else I know is interested in it. And compounding that is, he and Police of Cake don't like the Battle Royale, they like the multiplayer. I don't like the multiplayer, I like the Battle Royale. Oh yeah, Goodsey has it now too, yes, I forgot. We need an item room. But the point being is we like different modes. And I would like to put more time into it than I have, given what it cost, but... yeah, I think it's still worth it for the damage. Oh, god damn it. This run is so bad. Did you say RuneScape? Why did you say RuneScape? And yes, it is on auto mod. Deal with it. Hang on, there was a special room after that, I think. We had Campus Effect there for a second. Ah, boss trap room. I wonder if you had the Parasite, this setup would be workable. How's that 1.19 damage treating you? Yeah, it's worth it. It was not worth it. Well, we have one more shop, so it kind of is. Summon the memes. Oh, Valinar's here lurking, I think. Double XP and what? Oh yeah, we have the zombie mode, but the zombie mode isn't particularly interesting for the viewer, I feel. Like, of the three modes, I think it's probably the least interesting. Once you've seen the story, that is. And also, I think it's a bit overly difficult if you're not, like, really tryharding it. The zombies scale way too quickly. But I guess they figured that only, like, experienced players would be mucking around in that mode for the most part. What is that? Mecunium? Don't know what that is. I guess we can shoot over rocks, which is a slight advantage of our tiers being so high, but... Oh. Thank you. That's the first poop a baby has? I had no idea there was a word for that. Why is there a word specifically for that? Why don't we just call it the alpha poop? Oh, that's kind of good. I guess. It's more damage. Sort of. Is he firing? Yes, he is. The alpha poop and the omega poop. Because you poop when you die, so... The alpha and the omega. It's a sticky tar-like substance. I don't want to know these things. God, we got a bad boss as well. Bad in the sense that not balanced at all. Also, why have I been dropping hearts randomly? Because I've noticed it been happening for a while, but I don't know why it's been happening. On damage, I have a chance to drop a heart, and I don't have Child's Heart, so... What do I have that's doing that? We don't even want to deal with the devil on this floor, because we've seen it. Ah, dear. Physics, how do they? Well, we needed the bombs. And we got a black heart. Oh yeah, we got old bandage, didn't we? Yep. Yep. No map. Keep me right regarding remembering that there's an item room. If we live that long. Although I was feeling like we'd be at risk of dying before 20 minutes. I didn't realise we'd been going for 38 minutes. Grief. Just turned the map off by accident now. Or rather, I expanded it, but we have no map, so it's just blank. Wait, there's a separate name for a girl's first poop? Oh wait, no, first period. Yeah, okay, well that makes sense. Speaking of which, that's another health-related thing. Sora's off her foot again a little bit, and I'm curious if that's it because she's on her first season or not. Speaking of which, did I feel her there? No, I did not. But she didn't eat her breakfast until lunchtime, and then she didn't eat her lunch until dinner time, and I don't think she's touched her dinner yet. I brought it up here with her though, in case she gets hungry. Blackout Club is the game we've been playing a lot where he plays the kids doing stuff at night where their parents are being controlled by an evil demon. Kurt recently got it courtesy of Kenzie, so we're going to play with him. Put the lime in the coconut and call me in the morning. Finally, the cure to all our problems. That's a lot of hematemesis. This medical discussion got awfully weird. We could go back to talking about mortality if you want. But I don't think anybody wants that. We will try the double key room. I'd love a reroll. Oh, it's your big brother who's gonna die. Hello Shabos, you were only getting offered 2 bits for an ad? That's pretty low. If you try like closer to Christmas, the rates are usually bollocks. The rates are usually a bit better. I don't know where I was thinking that would bounce. Although I could grab it and only lose half a heart in grabbing it and getting back out, I think. Anytime you wanna... Oh yeah, right, 1.1 something damage. But we talk about our love lives. Are you just like trying to make chat sad, or? That is the item that just kills you, right? Is that what that does? We could go out on our own terms. Rather than on Soy Milk's terms. Take it and do it. It's a rare one where you actually hear him say the High Priestess. Your love life is good, you love yourself every night. Love hearts for days. Use with caution. I mean, if we had an extra life, I would totally do. We might as well bring it, and if we get an extra life, use it, I suppose. Or if we're going to die anyway. Hello, Edmonds. Mine. Also going to try for a black heart. Kill everything, including yourself? It might be, I don't know. I don't think I've ever used it. It does kind of sound like what a plan C would be. Plan A you hope succeeds. Plan B is a desperate last-ditch effort. Plan C is burn the ground. So, salt the earth. That's what I wanted to say. Burn the ground. Burning the ground is a thing too. Plan C from outer space. It was Plan 9. I'd like my demonic circle, please. No, alright. I think my movement speed is so slow I can't do a big circle with black powder. Yep. Alright, good to know. Yeah, scorched earth. I missed them both. Oh. Oh, I was into the kill because it was contact damage. Well, that was a terrible run that had no business getting as far as it did. For those watching after the fact on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed and see you next time. Ta for now.